Okay, Brereton, this is a real spiel. Just making sure I got a good sound for everybody. I realized when I got my earbuds in, sometimes it doesn't work as well. To my mentor, Dr. David Israel, give you a call in a minute, Doc. Faith Temple Apostolic International Ministries, FTA, IM, and to Emmanuel Church of Jesus Christ and Glorious Churches of Canada, and to all the Cyclopses that are in the building. Listen, the Iran-Israel conflict is still on. War. It's not a conflict, it's a war. And I just want to hit you to the narratives that are switching. Right now, the Israeli activists, the Zionist activists, they're on 10 right now. And so what they're doing is they are articulating that Iran is on an anti-Semitic pilgrimage to destroy Israel. And it's incredible to me, like when this narrative begins to spin so quickly. How can, watch this, you attack somebody's country, you attack their country because you believe that they are building weapons of mass destruction. This country has signed an anti-proliferation nuclear weapon agreement. This country has opened up every single refinery, or sorry, every single nuclear base, or whatever you want to call it, to inspections by the IAEA. This country has enriched uranium to 60%, which is completely legal under the anti-proliferation agreement. And you, without provocation, have launched attacks on nuclear sites. Israel, the Israeli Zionist agenda, the Zionist movement. You've launched on nuclear sites. You've destroyed one, damaged others. Watch this. The radiation is not even significant. That's number one. Number two, you have never signed the anti-nuclear proliferation bill. You've never signed it. You have never opened up your nation for inspection by the international watchdog. You do not let foreign media broadcast unless they are 100% pro-Israel in your country. And now you are crying anti-Semitism. Now you are screaming out, oh, look at this anti-Semitism, these actors of evils and their proxies. Let me tell you something. From the position of the entire world, anti-Semitism for you doesn't exist. What white supremacy does. And let me tell you why anti-Semitism for you doesn't exist. Because anti-Semitism, as opposed to white supremacy, which you are practicing from a European perspective, Mr. Milowski, which is your real name, Benny, you're not a visible minority. A visible minority can say, I have been racially profiled. You're not a visible minority. You're definitely not a Hasidic. You're not an Orthodox Jew. You do not have the visible insignias of your version of Judaism, your Talmudic Judaism. You're not a visible minority, and most of the Zionist movement are not, because they're non-religious people. Most of you are not. But what you are is that you are practicers of very basic and specific white supremacy. This is what you do. You shoot children in the head. That's what you do. You blow up hospitals and schools. This is what you do. You commit genocide. You tell people, run to safe zones. And when they run to safe zones, you machine gun all of them down. That's what you do. You launch bombs on sites that are being inspected. You murder scientists. You murder media personalities while they're doing the news because they're telling the truth about you. This is what you do. You function exactly like Nazi Germany, because most of you are Nazis that are now impersonating Jews. Most of you are. Most of you are. And the reason we know is because you have the same behavior. You have the same lack of compassion. You have the same absenteeism of humanity. But what you have done now is you've weaponized yourself to protect yourself behind this concept of anti-Semitism, when you are the devil and the wolf yourself. Why is it that you behave exactly like your other warlord overseer in the White House, who has now adopted a war? Donald Trump has adopted a war like he would adopt a puppy. And he's making decisions. Oh, I got to make a decision whether or not I bomb Iran. You're not at war with Iran, Donald Trump. You're not at war with Iran. Iran has not broken any of the agreements that your government caused them to sign. You have had no provocation to be at war with Iran. Oh, they can't be sending bombs at civilians. They're at war. They are at war defending themselves from a nuclear nation. A nation that a few days ago, for a year, was bombing civilians. Anti-Semitism doesn't exist for you. It doesn't exist for you. You are colonizers. You are European white supremacists. I don't believe that you are the same people who were put in the ovens of Auschwitz. I don't believe you are. I don't believe it. Because if you were descendants of people who had been treated like Hitler treated those Jews, you would never behave like you're behaving today. You would never behave like you're behaving today. This is why black people in America, as lost as they are sometimes with certain issues, have a bleeding heart for everyone who suffers racial discrimination. This is why black people in America are still protesting, which they shouldn't, with individuals who are being abducted by ICE, still putting up memes on social media. This is why black people in America have a heart for anyone who is being marginalized, victimized, anyone who's being treated in an inhumane way. We have a heart for it because we've been through it. You've never been through it. And that's why I don't believe your identification agenda. I don't believe who you say you are. I don't believe it anymore. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I can't believe it. Because the evidence demonstrates that you operate more like a Nazi, like an Aryan, like a white supremacist conqueror than you ever operated like a victim. And therefore, it is probably the goats amongst the sheep. That's the best thing I can say, is that some Nazis are in there running the place, while other people who are actually have descendants who come from these particular Holocaust Jews. That's why you see so many actual individuals who have a historicity of being treated horribly by Hitler. They don't agree with your regime. That's why you have so many so-called Jews in Israel who want you imprisoned, because they don't identify with your behavior, because they say he can't be one of us. He doesn't act like one of us. You are Herod. You are King Herod, the king of the Jews, but you're not a Jew. That's what you are. So Benny, Mr. Milewowski, can't say your name properly. I can't say your Polish European name properly. I can't say it properly. I don't accept your cries, your crocodile tears of anti-Semitism. I don't accept it. I don't accept it from you. I don't accept it from AIPAC. I don't accept it from your from Mr. Greenblatt. I don't accept it from any of you Zionists, because I don't believe who you are. I don't believe who you are. I've stopped believing in who you say you are. And who you say you are, you say you're European Jews. I don't believe you're those guys. Nah, no, I don't believe you're those guys. But good try, because you will know them by their fruits. That's what our Bible tells us. I know you don't have one, because how are you a Jew and you're not religious? How are you a Jew and you're an atheist? How are you a Jew and you don't identify with the heart of the text and the spirit of the text? No, that's not who you are. So you cannot put all of your various articulate pundits out there and start rattling on about anti-Semitism. The audacity of declaring that you are a victim. When Donald Trump, your ally, has said we control the airspace over Iran, which is not true. You don't control it. But since you do control it, according to your own narrative, how are you a victim? How are you a victim? When the complimentary news stations say, oh yeah, Iran is drastically slowed down, when your own reports say you've destroyed 40% of all the ability of Iran to defend themselves, how are you a victim? How are you screaming anti-Semitism because Iran they hit a hospital? I thought your Iron Dome and your Arrow system stopped everything, 90% of it. How are you letting it hit hospitals? How are you letting it hit schools? Because you know why you're letting it hit schools. You're continuing the narrative. Continuing the narrative. Internationally, no one is flying to Israel. Internationally, no one is being allowed to fly to your nation. No one wants in. We know how you treat actual Hebrews in your nation. We know how you treat black people in your nation. We know how you treat them. We know how you treat Christians in your nation. We definitely know how you treat the Arabs and the Muslims. We know that you blew up churches in Gaza. You didn't care. You're indiscriminate. The Palestinian, that's his nation, but his religion, that's his ethnicity, but his religion is Christian, Muslim, Jew, and otherwise. And you are indiscriminate because you are a white supremacist, and you only want your European Jewry in Israel, your European Zionism in Israel. And I believe, and don't wait for me, won't wait to find out if I'm a prophet. Listen to me in advance. I believe you've ended your regime right here. This is your last stand, right here. You've ended it. You've taken away the mysticism. You have caused people to be disenfranchised. You will no longer have a love affair between Christians and Jews. They've already fallen out of love with you. They already don't want any part of you. They already want to make sure there's no war that takes place with your so-called ally. The only ally you have in America is in the White House, and it's only Donald. That's the only ally you have in America. And he has no allies when he decides to launch a war on Iran. He will have no allies. His base will fall apart. And they're already discussing it. And that's why he's taking his time. And that's why your agenda is going to fail. Because when Donald is told by his base, we don't want a war over there, and his hands are tied. When Donald is trying to tell Vladimir, oh, we don't need you to mediate. We'll handle this. His base is going to fall apart. And you're going to be left holding the bag because you've pulled on the Iranian tail of a tiger. And I hope the rising lion has the wherewithal to fight by themselves, because you will be fighting by yourself very soon. Very soon. When the entire international world has said there is no nuclear weapons, including America, has said there's no nuclear weapons in Iran that we have seen. We're everywhere. We're at all of them. We're at all of them all the time. There's no nuclear weapons in Iran. When the entire international world has said that, but you have made up in your mind that, oh, this was the moment, this was the time. They're days away. 60% legal. Signed anti-proliferation legal. Absolute surrender, never. That ancient nation will never surrender to you. Never. It will never surrender to America. Never. Why would something that's 4,000 years old surrender to something that's a few hundred years old in America? And you're not even a 100-year-old country. Never will it surrender to you. Never. Never. And what you have done is you have woken up the Arab world, the Muslim world. You've woken up the African world to realize that you are a dangerous entity that must be feared. And we know what you have to do now. You have to close your borders perpetually. You have to make sure that the insurgency doesn't come in and sit down and plan. You have to be very protective now because they know who you are. You're a Nazi. You're you're a white supremacist. We can see how you treat everyone. Even the people that claim that they're Hebrew and Israelites in your country. We see how you treat the Ethiopians. We see how you treat the Nigerians. We see how you treat the people in Dimona. We see how you treat everybody. We see how you treat the Palestinians. We see how you treat the Muslims. We see how you treat the Arabs. We see how you treat the Christians. We see everything. We know who you are. You can't hide no more. You can't hide no more. We've pulled the covers off you. You can't hide no more. And you cannot point your bony little fingers at us and say we're anti-Semitic because you're not even Shemitic. How? You're not even Shemitic. You're white people from Europe who stole somebody else's land, who used your other white friends called NATO to steal other people's land. And China is sending weapons to Iran, and they will not stop. They will not stop. But America will stop sending weapons to you. And China's a lot closer. Pakistan is sending weapons to Iran, and they will not stop. Russia has an interest in Iranian nuclear plants, and you can't bomb all of them because Russia will rise up to say, hey, you're shooting at us now. You didn't think this out. Didn't think it out. And unlike the Palestinians, they can go next door. Next door to Pakistan. They might even be able to go to India, hang out there for a while, and then come right back to their country. But where are you going to hide? Most of you have gotten on a plane and utilized your other passports and fled to America or otherwise, the UK, Australia, because you have your other passports where all of these Nazis went to hide, and you can't come back to that country that's the size of the state of New Jersey because it doesn't take that many bombs to level you. You can go crazy in Iran. Iran's 100 times bigger than you. They don't have to hit you that many times to jack up your infrastructure. And when it gets really, really, really bad for you, really, really bad, that maniac is going to want to push the red button. And the world's going to say, cut it out. Oh boy. Oh boy. So, in conclusion, stop buying into this new narrative of European anti-Semitism. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It really doesn't exist. There's not people out here advocating for the death of white Europeans. Oh, these white Europeans have to die. No. They're not running around saying, kill all the Polish, kill all the Ukrainians. No. You have created something that should never have existed. You've created a white Hebrew, and you've cloaked him in warfare, destruction, racism, marginalization, hegemony, and then you said, oh, everybody hates us. Of course. And you're carrying around an identity that no one hated. No one really hated in the modern times. No one really hated you in the modern times. Can I explain that to you? No one really hated you in the modern times. They actually utilized you in a very specific way. Napoleon said, in order for me to do war, I need the Jews. Why? Because you had gold, and he had to pay his army in gold. You were able to conduct usury where the Western church did not allow usury to be practiced. People borrowed money from you. You had a financial relationship with every nation that you've ever been interwoven with, even with the Romans. Even with the Romans. Right? That fell apart. We know why. So this hatred, this new hatred at least, we know what took place in Germany. In Germany, you dilapidated the economy. You caused Germans to have to buy bread carrying a wheelbarrow full of money. And you were attacked because of how you manipulated the financial world. That's why you were attacked. That's the only reason those folks didn't like you. Right? You impoverished Germany. However, you quickly switched up. And now you run Germany. You run the state of Israel, and you run the coffers of America too. So, what did you do? What did you do to cause these folks over there to not like you? You invaded their land. That's easy. You invaded their land, told them that they were not welcomed. You conducted apartheid, genocide. You occupied their territory. You pushed them further and 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 further into reservation mentalities. That's a pretty easy reason not to like you. And now you are arbitrarily attacking sovereign nations based on your own political and foreign policy agenda. And the brother's asking here, what happened to the real Jews? They're still there. They're still right there. They're in Israel. Some of them are in Israel. Some of them are elsewhere. But some of them are right there. Some of them are right there. You can read the book of Acts. Read chapter 8. Some of them were in Ethiopia. You didn't really want them to come back, but you told them to convert to your Western Talmudic Judaism. So these unfortunate Ethiopians are running around in big hats, black coats, and white shirts, dressing like Europeans. Unfortunately. Because that's the only way you'd let them in. You got their mind turned backwards. They don't want to be black anymore. Imagine an African doesn't want to be black anymore. So, but they're right there. They're right there. Brother, they're right there. The real Jews have never gone anywhere. They're right there. They just have individuals standing in their seat. The Bible talked about that too. Right? That Japheth will sit in the tents of Shem. Read that in Genesis. Japheth, the European, will sit down in the tents of Shem and act like he is Shemitic. That's prophecy. And that's what you're seeing today. They haven't gone anywhere. They haven't gone anywhere. They're right here. So, don't buy the narrative. Stop it. Stop allowing them to say it. It's like today, where you have all these white kids, Chinese kids, Latinos using the word nigger. Nigger this, nigger that. No, don't let them use that word. Because what they're saying is that they're adopting it, saying, yeah, I'm a nigger too. They've adopted it. They've appropriated black culture. They've appropriated black pain. They've appropriated black victimization. They have appropriated black marginalization and feel they have the right to utilize black identity and black colloquialisms. No, you do not. Don't do it. Can't do it. The same reason that they can't scream out anti-Semitism, because you're not a Semite. I don't agree with you bashing on Asians and Latinos. I don't see how I'm bashing on Asians and Latinos. When you have people, I don't run around calling myself chinky. I don't run around calling myself a wetback. I don't use racial slurs of other nations to identify myself. Why would other nations use a black racial slur to identify themselves? It makes no sense. They are appropriating a movement. They are appropriating a struggle that they don't own, that they never participated in, nor did their ancestors. So don't use it. Don't appropriate and call yourself Semitic when you are not Semitic. You never came out of Egypt. You never walked in the wilderness of Sinai. Don't appropriate it, because you're appropriating it for your benefit. How are you a victim when you're the richest people group in the world? How are you a victim when you're the only country in the so-called Middle East that has nuclear weapons? How are you a victim when the largest arms dealer in the world supplies you with everything he has? You're not a victim. You're a liar. And you've appropriated a victimization mentality and a struggle that you're not going through. You're appropriating the death of millions of European Jews and saying that's still us, and we're still victims, and therefore we have to defend ourselves so that Hitler never happens. But you're not those people, because you would never act like that. That's what I'm saying. Israel got hit again? Good. I'm serious. You hit somebody, you're going to get hit back. Go to the negotiation table. Sign the nuclear anti-proliferation deal, Israel. Open up your borders so that your nukes can be inspected, Israel. Don't go to war with sovereign nations, Israel. Don't commit genocide and have an apartheid state, Israel. Don't marginalize and prejudice racial communities from Africa, Israel. Don't victimize Christians because they're Palestinians, Israel. You deserve to get hit. Of course you deserve to get hit. Who do you think you are? You're blowing up other people's children. You don't think your children are at risk? You're blowing up other people's hospitals. You don't think your hospitals are at risk? You're blowing up other people's religious institutions. You don't think your religious institutions are at risk? You deserve to be hit. That's why I've told my people, get out of Tel Aviv. Get out of Tel Aviv. Don't make, I say it again, don't make my words become prophetic after. No, they are prophetic now. And get out of Tel Aviv. I don't care where you are. Get out of Tel Aviv. Because it is the capital city of Zionism. It is the most non-religious evil place in that nation. There's no religious people in Tel Aviv. Those are secular people. Those are atheistic people. They're not interested. They're not the people of the God of the land. Get out of Tel Aviv. Period. So, anyway, I hope you hear me this morning. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Anti-Semitism, for them, doesn't exist. You know where anti-Semitism exists? For the people who are visibly identify as Hebrew, that wear it on their skin, that wear it every day they walk out the house. You can't miss them. That wear it how God takes care of them and causes them to still rise when the world is trying to destroy them. We didn't need nuclear weapons. He fought with insects. He fought with plagues. He fought with weather. He made sure that nothing could kill us. And we love people, even though the same people that try to destroy us, now they sit in our churches. Now they want us on their political parties. Now they want us to be their leaders and to be their chiefs of police and to be their lawyers and to be their generals, because they've seen the value in us and we have forgiven them. Who has the Zionist forgiven? When has the word forgiveness come out of the mouth of a Zionist? When? Even in peace times, they treat their enemies like they're at war. That's how you know who they are. Don't let them fool you, because they're not fooling me. Have a fantastic morning. We'll talk soon. This is Del K. Brereton. This is The Real Spiel.